You want to go sit next to Papa?
I want to sit on your lap.
Okay. Hi, Grandma.
Hi, Gwen and Brittany. How are you today?
Good. You know what, though? We've got the camera. Now, Mom's going to be looking at me. Well, no, I didn't.
It's all right,
Oh, it
Fred.
doesn't matter. Okay.
I'm glad you came down to see us, Brittany.
What is your name, Grandma?
Dorothy Davis.
And ask her when she was born. And where?
I was born a long, long time ago.
What was the date?
On a farm near Memphis, Nebraska.
And you know when her birthday is? July 30th.
I was born on July 30.
Isn't that neat? And what was the city that you were born in?
I was born on the farm, out in the country. It was near Memphis, Nebraska, a little teeny tiny town.
Was she born in a hospital, Brittany?
No,
Oh.
I was not born in a hospital. I was born at home, at my mother and father's home, the farm home.
Now, what did the farm home look like?
Just Grandma can see it in her mind, but it's hard for me to describe it. I don't remember it all very well. That was so long ago.
Now, do you think that she had a bathroom inside the farmhouse?
No, we did not have a bathroom. We had to go outdoors to go to a bathroom, a little building outdoors,
And you know what that building was probably called?
a privy.
A privy. Sometimes we call it an outhouse, Brittany.
And when we took a bath, we had to get out a big tub in the kitchen.
A wash tub, probably.
A wash tub, probably, I don't remember. And take a bath in the kitchen in a tub.
So they didn't have a bathtub like you take a bath, do they? Did
No.
they?
We weren't lucky. Long time ago, people didn't have bathtubs.
No bathroom in the house at all.
Isn't
And
that funny?
To get water, we had to pump a handle to get the water to come out.
Huh. And then, what about cooking? Did they have a big oven and a stove like you have now, Brittany?
No, it's an old-fashioned stove. We had to burn corn cobs or wood to make a fire in it. And it was a big black stove. And it had a reservoir on the side that would heat up water. We could use that hot water from that stove fire.
So they didn't have heating. The only heating they had was through a stove.
Yes.
I said they didn't have a stove.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what Grandma said.
A great big heating stove in the other room, which was a big heating stove that we'd have to put wood into that to heat the house. And our bedroom upstairs, we had to go upstairs to a bedroom, and oh, it was cold up there in the wintertime. So cold.
Did they have blankets?
Oh yes, we had blankets to help keep us warm. But it was cold to walk up there and walk down at night. Grandma would go downstairs by the fire. Grandpa and Grandma would have the fire going, and I'd go down there and stand by the warm fire to dress.
What do you think Grandma's mom and dad's name
Never
were?
pot under the bed.
What were your mom and dad's name when you were a little baby?
My mother's name was Pearl, and my father's name was Frank. Pearl Deck and Frank Deck.
How many brothers and sisters did Grandma have?
I had 3 sisters, and I had 2 brothers, but I never got to know them because they died when they were just young. I had 3 sisters that I grew up with. They always called me, I was the baby of the family.
So she was the youngest.
I was the youngest.
What were your papa and grandma's names when you were a little baby?
What were the Papa and Grandma's names?
Well, my papa's name was Frank Deck. My mama's name was Pearl Deck.
No, Grandma and Grandpa. Your Grandma and Grandpa, not your mom and dad.
Yeah. One grandpa's name was Joseph Deck, and the other's one was Richard Deck. Or Richard Marks. And my grandma's name one was Priscilla Marks, and the other one was
Something.
I've forgotten right now, but I'll think of it. I think.
Now, when were they born?
Oh
Do you
my!
think? 18?
Back in the dark ages.
They were born in 1800
You
something.
mean my grandparents?
Grandparents.
Oh, I don't know when my grandparents were
What
born.
about
But
What about
my-
your mom and dad?
My mom and dad? My dad was born in 1873, and my mother was born in 1875.
Is that a long time ago?
Long, long time ago.
Wow.
What else does where were your father work when you were a little baby and your mom were work when you were a little baby?
Well, my father was a farmer. He worked on the farm. He would hitch up the horses and go out to the field and plow and plant corn and plant wheat. And then in the summertime when it got ripe, he had to go out and cut the wheat with a big binder. And then he would pick the corn off of the corn that was out in the field.
Did we go pick corn last year?
But
We did, didn't
That
we?
wasn't ripe corn though, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, was it? It was all
We
hard.
ate it then, didn't we?
Well, that kind that you eat, yes.
Yeah. But Grandma's dad made corn for the animals.
Yes, he would let it get real hard and go out there in the winter or fall and husk the corn, bring it in, and then a great big machine would come and haul the corn all off, and then he could feed it to the pigs and the cows and, not the cows, I guess, but to the animals.
And what did her mom do?
Well, my mother had lots of work to do on the farm because she had to bake bread and wash. Didn't have a very good washer then. She'd have to work so hard, maybe have a scrub board and scrub like this. on
They
the
didn't
scrub-
have washing machines, Brittany.
No, not then. Not
No.
way long ago.
What other questions do you have? You think of a question.
What other questions do you have?
What about toys? What about Grandma and her toys? What kind of toys did Grandma have when she was little?
Grandma doesn't remember much about her toys, but I didn't have very many, I don't think. I remember having a nice dog that I liked. His name was Ring because he had a white circle of fur around his neck, so we called him Ring.
Was it a live dog?
Yes, it was a big live dog.
They played outside most of the time.
In the summertime,
In
but in the
summer.
winter it was too cold. We'd have snow on the ground all winter, and it would be cold. Yes.
Now, let's talk about Grandma's school. Do you want to ask about her school?
What is in your school when you were little?
Well, we moved to Ashland, Nebraska when I was just about 5 years old. Then when I was 6, we moved to another farm that my father bought. And we had a nice brick house there. And I would ride to school with my sister. My sister went in town to work for a grain elevator company, my oldest sister. And I would ride to school. And it was the Ashland Public School.
And how many kids were in your class, Grandma?
Oh, I don't remember when I was little, but when I graduated, from high school, there were about 50 people in my graduating class. And I don't mean to brag, but when Grandma
Wait, listen to Grandma one
when
second.
Grandma graduated, I got honors for having the highest grades.
Isn't that great?
And did you get a trophy when you were at, there were any games that you played, like T-ball?
Did you play any games like T-ball and get trophies?
No, I didn't. Grandma didn't go in for sports much. When I was in high school, I was on a basketball team, but I wasn't very good in basketball either. I wasn't very good in sports like Brittany is.
Grandma liked to learn things from books, and
Yes,
Grandma probably baked with her mom.
probably. I don't remember that now.
Now,
Then-
did you go to
then
Did you
I-
go to school? Did you have a separate high school, or did you go to one school?
No,
all
we
your
had
life?
one school.
Mommy, can't you see it in here?
Uh-huh.
We had one school, the high school and the grade school. Although there was a fire in our school and they had to have school in different places, like the place where Grandma's class was, I don't know, I think it was in a church or something. And some of the other children had to go other places until they built a new school.
Mm.
Then we all went to the same school, high school and grade school.
How many miles did you have to ride a bike or walk to school?
About 2 miles to my school from the farm.
Did you have a car to ride in?
Like my sister, you know, when she was working in town, she took me. But after she got married and left home, then Grandma had to walk most of the time.
In the big snow.
Once in a while, if it was snowing and big drifts, Grandpa would take us in the wagon to school. A great big wagon with 2 horses pulling it.
Mm.
We didn't have a sleigh. We just had a big wagon that Grandpa would take us in.
And then what happened to Grandma after high school?
Grandma went to Nebraska Wesleyan University in Lincoln. I went up there and stayed, and I just went to school for 1 year. Then I got a teaching certificate, and Grandma started to teach.
She was a teacher like Gigi and Lori.
And I taught out in the country, though. It was a school out in the countryside. And I would have like 15 or 20 children in school. One time I had a little girl who started to school. Her folks were Bohemian, and they'd never taught her how to speak English. So Grandma had to teach her how to talk English. She was a smart little girl, so she learned fast.
So how many kids do you think Grandma taught? Was it first through certain grades?
It was 1st through 8th grade.
Was there a lot?
A lot of kids?
Yes. Well, sometimes there were about 15 children. One school I had, I didn't have very many. I just had 2 children, and they were from the same family.
Huh.
But they finally closed that school, and then that's when Grandma went to a bigger school to teach. That's what I had, about 15 or 20 probably.
How many years did you teach?
She asked, how many years did you teach?
I taught 5 years. Then I decided I wanted to do something else. So I started being a cashier for Nebraska Public Power Company.
She was a cashier. Did she take money? Do you think, Brittany?
Yeah.
Yes, I would take money when people came in to pay their bills. And I would sell things in the store too. Things like toasters and irons and all things like that. And I just worked there for a year, and then I got married to my first husband, Gary.
Who gave this shoe to you?
What?
That's she was Stevens.
That was when Gary's father. I got married to Morris Sheldon and had 1 boy, Gary Sheldon.
Gary Sheldon is her son. You know Gary.
Remember him?
Do you remember Gary? You'll see him at Thanksgiving time. Okay.
And we had 1 baby, and that was Gary.
Gary.
Then, when he was 7 months old, his daddy got killed in an accident. So Gary didn't have a daddy anymore. So it was just Gary and Grandma. And we lived together, and I went back to business school, and then I commenced to work in an office, in an insurance office.
How long did she
I guess at first I worked.
Where did the dad get dead?
Where did the dad get dead?
That was in Rock Springs, Wyoming, where his daddy was killed in a mine, a coal mine. It was real sad. Then Grandma had to pack up things that we had, and I finally drove to Nebraska again, because that was in Rock Springs, Wyoming, where his daddy was killed. Then I drove to Nebraska and stayed with my mom and papa for a little while. Then I went up to Lincoln, Nebraska, and went to business school for a year. Then I got a job working for the Nebraska Agricultural College for 1 year, and after that I went to work for an insurance company.
Hmm. Yeah, go get one. Go get one. And then she worked in an insurance company for how long, Brittany?
For a long time, until I quit work to marry Grandpa Davis.
Did you hear that? She worked there until she quit to marry Papa Davis. And then she moved to Tucson.
Before I met Grandpa, I mean, I came down here to visit some cousins.
The cousins are mine.
No, my cousins. My husband's cousins. Then they introduced me to Grandpa Davis because he had lost his wife. And he had 3 children, Jim and Bob and Gwen. Gwen was just a little girl.
That's me.
Yes.
I was a little girl.
Yes. So
Uh-huh.
so
Come
then
here.
he asked me to marry him. So then I went back to Lincoln and worked for a little while and told them I was going to get married. And I quit work then and came back to Tucson and married Grandpa up here in the Rincon Church.
What date was that? Was
That-
that Flag Day?
It was June 14th,
1968.
Well, that's about enough for a test, isn't it?
No, Brittany's enjoying this. Brittany, do you want to ask more questions?
What does this mean?
What?
That's my joke.
I don't know.
What'd she say?
So then, well,
I
listen.
want to do a joke.
No, we're videotaping right now. Listen, then Papa and Grandma got married. And guess who Grandma raised? Jim, Bob, and Gwen.
Gwen was just a little girl. Were you 6 or 7?
I was 5.
Gwen was 5 years old, just a little girl.
And you know what we had when we were growing up, Brittany? We had lots of animals. And you know what Grandma's favorite animal was? Ginger.
Ginger was a dachshund doggie we bought for the children. And you know, they wanted a doggie so bad, and so they were to take care of it. But pretty soon they got tired of taking care of it. And Grandma and Grandpa had to take care of Ginger most of the time. Ginger really liked us. She was a nice doggie. She was a dachshund.
Do you know where Grandma and Papa first lived? They lived at 5749 East
9th Street.
6th Street.
6th Street.
In Tucson, Arizona. That's where
That's
Jim, Bob, and
where Gwen were
Gwen,
living.
we all lived there in Tucson. Mhm.
You'll have to go see
Yeah, you
that.
better tell them where you went on your honeymoon and
Yeah, you
what
better tell
happened
them.
afterwards.
Yes,
And
tell
what?
about the honeymoon.
Well, after Grandpa and I were married, Grandpa wanted to take me up to
Listen to this, Brittany. Sedona.
Sedona, which it's real pretty country. And he thought it would be cool up there. It was hot in Tucson then in June. We went up there and it was so hot up there. But we had a good time. We sat,
118 at Tuesday Good.
That's hot.
we drove around and saw things up there and
Went to Grand Canyon.
went to the Grand Canyon. And we stayed there at
Mom, this phone right
Sedona.
here.
we stayed at
Mom,
Sedona and we went out and
This
sat
phone
down
right-
beside the little stream, and it was nice out there to sit. Grandpa, I think, tried to fish, but he didn't catch anything.
And then what happened?
Then we went up to Grand Canyon, and then we came back home to Tucson. And soon after that,
The next day.
we heard that,
No, the next day Bert and Alice
was
arrived.
the next day. I thought it was a few days.
No,
The
well,
next
maybe
day,
it's a couple days, but
a couple of days after we got back from our honeymoon, here came Vern and Alice and their 3 children to visit us. But we enjoyed it.
But what happened when you were on your honeymoon? Didn't you sit in something?
no.
That was when we went up to see your grandma and grandma.
Oh,
We were
okay.
coming home. You mean I stood back
Sat
my
on all
aunt?
those ants.
Yeah. So that's about enough for today for a trial,
You think?
I think.
I think we could go on. Here's a question. It says, how did the Great Depression affect your family?
When we lived on the farm with my daddy and mama, that was the second farm, the nice brick house we had. Things got real tough. It was the crops didn't grow well, and Grandpa didn't have much money coming in. My father used to run a big thrashing machine in the summertime and thrash the wheat for other people's to earn more money.
Mm. How much was milk back then, do you think?
I don't know, because we had our own cows. Grandpa milked our cows, and we had our own milk.
What, Brittany? Why don't you sit next to Grandma and tell your joke?
Well, in Wisconsin, it was going for less than 50 cents a hundred.
What?
It was.
What does the snowman over
Yeah.
the baby's
Sometimes the milk
crib?
less, Dad just haul the
And that's enough.
milk over to the hog house and give it to the hogs.
What does the snowman hang over the baby's crib?
What does the snowman hang over the baby's crib, Grandma?
A snow beetle.
A snowmobile.
Oh, of course.
Do you have any more questions for Grandma? What?
What does the snowman hang over the cloud?
I don't know what.
A picture on the shelf.
Oh, you're just being silly,
You're silly.
right now. You are just being silly. Silly. Now ask Grandma, does she have any grandchildren?
Do you really want to?
Yes. Gary got married, and he had 3 children, Diane and Linda and Bradley. And now they all got married, and I have great-grandchildren.
She's got great-grandchildren.
Linda has 4, one girl who is Emily. She's the same age as Logan. Then she had 3 boys, and Bradley has 1 little boy who is just 1 year old now. But Grandma has not seen Bradley Jr. yet.
Hmm.
You kissing the light? You're silly. That's the light we wanted to shoot.
What about TV? Do you think Grandma had a TV growing up?
Oh no, they didn't have TVs then.
When do you think Grandma got her first TV?
When she was bigger.
Well, it was when I was working in Lincoln for the insurance, no,
Yeah.
insurance company. When I got it, was it then? I guess so.
Had to be.
I forgot to say that I worked for the state, didn't I?
No.
Yeah, you didn't work for this.
I worked for the state
Yeah, you said
agriculture
that.
college, yeah.
Oh yeah, you
But
said that.
Then I went to work for
The insurance.
For the State Department of Assistance
Ah.
as a receptionist. Then I became a secretary there. I was there for a long while, about 14 years, I think, or 10, I don't remember. Then after that, I went to work for the insurance company.
And Grandma used to do shorthand.
Yes.
Shorthand was a type of way to write, Brittany, that was shorter than writing just sentences. But we don't really learn that much anymore. And what about, do you think Grandma had a TV, VCR? No.
Not then. We got a VCR
Like in the 80s.
like when we lived here.
Mm.
We didn't get a VCR until living in this house, did we?
No, well,
I
they were out of San Diego when we got it.
Got our first one?
I'm almost going to get a TV in my room.
You're almost going to get a TV in your room. And Grandma didn't even have a TV, or
No.
Papa didn't have a TV growing up.
No, we didn't have any.
I had a TV when I was growing
What about
up.
pictures? Did Grandma get to have pictures? There's some pictures Grandma had when they were growing up. They had cameras.
You know
Well,
what?
when Jim was a baby, we didn't have TV.
When Uncle Jim was a baby, there was no TV.
And when Uncle Bob was a baby, he didn't have any TV. But when Gwen was a baby,
There was
we
TV.
got a TV. Or
Well,
had a
that's-
TV.
That was.
Isn't that crazy?
You know what?
Why?
When I was a little baby, I had a TV.
I know you did.
Yes.
We buy the TV already.
You did.
We don't have any in the living. We don't have any in the dining room.
No.
Because there's a door there.
Yeah.
Well, in the dining room, or the real dining room.
There's a door.
But there where you, in your kitchen there, right next to your kitchen, that room, you have a TV.
And you know what? They used to go to the movies,
Yes.
but it wasn't like going to the movies like us.
You know what? You know what I didn't like when I was like 2? I like Elmo because the bad guy take Elmo's blanket away.
That's right. When you went and saw that movie, it was scary, wasn't it?
I didn't like it. I liked it when there was an end.
Mm-hmm.
When the end came, you like that.
Do you know what else Mom probably did, Grandma did when she was little? They probably sat around the radio and listened to the radio for entertainment.
Yes, but my sister and I were teaching school before we ever got a radio. My sister bought a radio. My dad didn't want one at all, but so she bought one. But then he liked it. Then my papa
You know what I
liked it.
did to this Momo?
Mm-hmm.
I dissed it.
Okay. How's that for a test?
Well, that should be more than enough for a test.
Mommy, I want to do mine now.
Your short life. Go sit with Grandma and I'll do you.
No, I want to do right here.
No?
Right, yeah. Yeah.
You, what's the matter with Grandma? You afraid I'm going to bite? You think I'll bite?
You got to be in front of the camera before we can talk,
You have to
take
be-
your history.
you have to
Yeah.
be here. I'll move over here and then you can sit right there.
You sit right there.
But I've got a lot more questions to ask Grandma. But we'll do it another day.
Mommy, how about you go over there and then I'll sit right here.
Okay, you sit right there.
But the picture won't, they won't take a picture of you then.
Yeah, well,
You have to be right
No.
here.
we can turn
Well,
it.
no,
no,
don't
no.
touch that,
We
please.
can turn it.
No, we got.
What do you think Grandma's
we
favorite?
sit right there.
We
Brittany,
can turn
You have to sit right where
it.
Grandma was.
We can turn it this way.
Brittany, what do you think of Grandma's favorite TV stars were?
Mommy, we can turn it this way.
Okay. What do you think Grandma's favorite TV stars were?
Where,
What was Grandma's favorite TV stars?
I don't know.
I bet it was Bing Crosby. Is he a TV star? He's a
Yes.
singer.
He was on
Bob Hope.
Frank,
Mine?
Frank
Mine?
Sinatra.
Mine was, you know who was my favorite when I was a little baby?
Who?
Logan.
Logan. My Logan.
My Logan.
Mm-hmm. He was your favorite.
He's my favorite all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's commencing to be a little bit older and doesn't
Mm-hmm.
want that kind of attention so much.
All right. Should we stop now, Brittany?
No.
And then we'll do more later and we'll see what John thinks of how we can do it.
We can do it on Papa's Pooder.
What do you think, Grandma? Was that fun?
Well, I remembered some things I'd forgotten before.
Mommy, I want to do it. Was it fun, Grandma?
Grandma can't remember very well anymore because she's getting too old to remember. My mind isn't as
No, don't do that, please.
my mind is going.
Don't touch it.
I want to come over here.
Brittany, you're kind of rocking the camera
Well,
here.
bye-bye now. That's enough for this time.
But Grandma, I have to tell you
What?
Okay, don't touch this, please. Go sit down with Grandma and I'll do that thing. Go sit down with...
No.
We just talked to Grandma for a little bit and we're going to continue later. After Grandma takes a look at all those fun questions in that book. And then now this is Brittany, Eileen Fielden. She was born April 23rd, 1997. She has been playing at Papa and Grandma's house. And she is now 3 years old. And she cannot wait until Santa Claus comes this year.
Oh boy.
She is going to sit on Santa's lap and ask Santa for some toys.
What's she going to ask for this year?
I don't know. What does Brittany want for Christmas?
Madeline house.
A Madeline house.
And
A what?
a Madeline house.
And
What's that,
some
And some animals that swim in the water.
and some animals that swim in the water. Well, I think those are 2 nice things to ask for and see what Santa does.
And toys.
And toys. Alrighty. Well, we've got to go now. Say goodbye.
I'm gonna take a picture from you.
Okay, take a picture of Papa over here. Come over here and take a picture of Papa. And tell him that, Papa, you'll be interviewed next. Plan it.